Welcome to week 4 of Pelusi's Pick'em. I'm Julianne Pelusi, joined by Alan Saunders. And Alan, you picked the Steelers last week on Afternoon Drive. I thought they couldn't get it done, and I was wrong. How did they get it done?
Well, I can't say it looked great for
No.
most of the time that I was watching that game in New England, but they got it done eventually. And I thought they had matchups they could have exploited in that game that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But they did find a way to get it done in the end. A very frustrating game for the Steelers. Been hearing a lot of negativity from the Steelers fan base this week, even though they did win the game. But we move on. A correct pick for me. You'll have to get back in the win column this week.
I know. I'm going to have to get back in it. And we'll see at the end of the show if I pick the Steelers or the Vikings to win in Dublin this week. But of course, the Steelers on their way to Dublin right now. We are here in Pittsburgh to deliver our picks of the week. And I'm going to start, and we're going to start with Sid'em. I'm going to go with absolutely start Jaylen Warren again. I think we saw last week that they did give him that heavier workload, and I think it's just going to keep increasing. What have you seen at practice this week?
Yeah, I mean, a little banged up, dealing with a minor knee thing. I don't think it's going to affect him at all. I expect him to play all the way through it. And I think they finally kind of committed to, like you said, like giving him the bulk of the workload. You know, we saw so much of them forcing touches to Kenneth Gainwell in the first 2 weeks, and I didn't think it worked very well. I thought it was a much more smooth share of the workload in week 2. I thought Warren really benefited from that. He has, I think, over the last 2 weeks, half of the team's yards from scrimmage. That's just absurd. But yeah, I expect it to continue going well for him. I'm trying to trade for him in my one fantasy league, and no one will give him up. They won't give him up, and I feel like they know that, like, if the guy covering the Steelers wants him, you just don't trade him because
you can't.
Yeah.
I would never trade with you. You're at practice. I would absolutely never trade with you. If you wanted something, I would understand why. I mean, come on. Just based off of you're there. I think even better this week is going to be Jordan Mason. I think we've seen that, these rookies are helping the defensive line, but it's just not entirely there yet for this defense. I mean, hopefully it will get there. They're a very expensive defense, but I think they do still have the propensity to get run all over. I like Jordan Mason this week for the Vikings.
Yeah, I also think in a game where they're going to want to protect Carson Wentz from that Steelers pass rush as much as possible. You know, he's 33 years old. He's never been super mobile. I don't think they're going to want him taking 30, 40 pass attempts in this game. So I expect, sort of no matter what the game score situation becomes, that the Vikings are going to keep trying to run the ball and use a lot of Jordan Mason because he's the only one they've got. Ty Chandler's out.
Right.
In addition to the starter Jones, so he's kind of the only play for them as far as running backs.
Yeah, and speaking of the running backs, I'm going to head into our props for the week. Jaylen Warren, the over for receiving is 21.5. Again, we hit on that last week. It's the same as I know.
It never moves.
It
never moves.
Jaylen Warren, take the over 21.5 receiving yards, and then his rush and receiving is 84.5. I'm taking that over. Like you said, I mean, dominating the team's offense last week. I see that happening again. It seems like there are minimal solutions that don't involve Jaylen Warren.
Yeah, I totally agree. I like all of that. His anytime touchdown feels undervalued as well, honestly.
Yeah.
I mean, I think we should expect him to continue to be an enormous part of the Steelers offense going forward.
I have another prop on anytime touchdowns, and I don't think you would guess what that is. But Steelers defense special teams anytime touchdown is plus 600 right now. I love that. And then Minnesota's is plus 700 right now. I love both of those. I think you're going overseas, you're in Dublin, you're still adjusting, and something wonky is going to happen. I just love those odds, plus 600, plus 700 for those. I'm taking those this week, both of them.
Yeah, I was going to ask you in general, when you see the game, that 9:30 kickoff, the game's going to be in Europe.
Yeah.
What, not specifically for the Steelers, but what's your reaction when you're looking at picking a game and you see that it's in Europe? Like, how does that change things for you?
I've sat on this kind of all week getting ready for this show and what I thought. And then when you kind of try to look up the numbers, it's pretty difficult unless you want to go and add them all up yourself. I did not do that this week. But I think that just anything goes a lot more. It's almost like a Thursday night football situation where, like, what doesn't matter because these guys are tired, they're on minimal rest, they have jet lag. That's kind of the way that I view it. So I figured with the defense special teams touchdown, those are some of the wonkier things that can happen, and that's why I love those this week.
Yeah, I generally feel like a lot of these games are lower scoring, but the Steelers-Vikings game, the last time they were in London, was actually a really high scoring game. So I don't know. I don't know that there's a right way or a wrong way to approach it, but I wanted to get your thoughts on that here on this show, because I've been really trying to figure out what I think is going to happen, and just in terms of so much about what makes the Steelers and Mike Tomlin good is his ability to motivate, to have his team ready to play, and I don't know how all this travel and weirdness sort of translates into that part of his coaching style.
Yeah, and the more I looked into it, it seems like there's points wise not much of a difference in international games. So I didn't want to play into that too much. So, you know what? I'm going to run with that for the props this week. But let's head back to the United States tonight in just a couple of minutes. We got Seahawks and Cardinals. The Steelers have seen the Seahawks and they lost to them this season. I think the Cardinals are going to have the same fate. Seahawks are a 1.5-point favorite. I think Sam Darnold gets it done.
Yeah, I agree. I don't usually like picking road teams in division games and laying points to do so, but like the Cardinals have just, my buddy Donnie Druin covers the Cardinals, and he tweeted the injury report for the Cardinals the other day, and I think it took 2 tweets to fit it all in. It's not just James Conner, but they're very banged up. And I do think James Conner is such a big part of their offense. Not to say that Benson can't be a good player, because he can and he has, but I really think that that's going to be a loss that's going to take some time for that coaching staff to figure out. I don't know that they really have the horses and the rest of that offense to become some kind of passing offense. Marvin Harrison Jr. is still a very young player. They don't have a lot behind him at wide receiver. Love Trey McBride, but you can't make him offense out of throwing the ball to the tight end and Kyler Murray running around. I agree. I like Seattle, and I think Arizona is going to struggle for a while after the loss of Connor.
Yeah, I agree. And we'll go to the AFC North. Well, the Chiefs. So the Ravens and the Chiefs. Well, the AFC North, the Ravens. Will they bounce back this week against the Chiefs? I think yes. They're a 2.5-point favorite. I'm gonna lay the points there. I just think that Kansas City has bigger issues than Baltimore does right now. Obviously, Baltimore got exposed last week against the Lions, but Kansas City doesn't have that ability to run the ball like the Lions do, and they just don't have the pass rush to really give the Ravens fits this week.
How about the schedule to start the season for the Ravens? At Buffalo, then Cleveland at home. Like, not a good team, but never an easy game. Then the Lions now at Arrowhead. At Buffalo and at Arrowhead in the first 4 weeks of the season, it should be illegal. It's a very difficult stretch for Baltimore.
Yeah.
I really want to see if they can win a close game. I don't think they're going to be able to blow out the Chiefs. If this game is close at the end and they find a way to screw it up again, I think this is going to start to become a thing for them. I think they
Yeah.
really need to win this game, especially if it's a close one. I do think they're the better team. And I would pick the Ravens if I was picking this game, but I don't know that they're giving me a lot of confidence either.
Hmm.
I don't know. I feel like this is one of those games where if it's close and late, I trust Patrick Mahomes to come out with a win
Right.
a lot more than I trust the Ravens. But I think the Ravens are also a lot more capable of making this game not close. Like they could easily win this
Right.
game by 2 scores. I can't see the Chiefs pulling that off.
Right. Yeah. I'm going with the Ravens there. I was wrong last week on the Browns. How about the
Oh,
Browns?
everybody was wrong last week on the Browns.
Oh
Don't
my
feel bad about
goodness.
that one.
I gave you my whole diatribe on the Packers, and they did not show up for me. Browns, they are headed to Detroit. Um, Detroit a 9.5 point favorite, and I'm gonna take the Browns with the points there. 9.5 points. I think their defense just lets them keep it close and keeps them in the game. Everything else is not working, but the defense still finds a way to be dominant.
Yeah, I think that's a lot of points.
It's a lot of points.
And I agree that the Browns generally keep things close. I also think the Lions, while they had a really good game last week against the Ravens, I don't expect them to be as consistent as they have been. They lost a lot this offseason, and I think
Yeah.
we already saw sort of the big swing of their first couple weeks of the season, right? They lose pretty badly to the Packers in week 1, blow out the Bears, have a really good game against the Ravens. We've kind of seen all versions of the Lions so
Mhm.
far. I just don't think they're going to be consistently dominant. I think there's going to be weeks that are struggles for them. They have a nice little stretch here with Cleveland and Cincinnati back-to-back weeks before they go to
Yeah.
Arrowhead for the Chiefs. So that'll be the Packers, the Ravens, and the Chiefs, 3 Super Bowl contenders in 6 weeks. Tough early schedule for them as well. This game feels kind of like a letdown in a little bit, and
Mhm.
I don't think they're going to lose it, but I could see them taking their foot off the gas.
All right. I got to go back to the Packers. I mean, again, wrong last week. I still think that they are a great team. I am taking them to bounce back. 6.5 point favorite over the Cowboys, and I think that the Packers are going to cover. I mean, that just no bueno when you lose to the Browns. I think a lot of uncomfortable conversations uh, in Green Bay this week, and I think that they pull out that win.
I'm flipping it here. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm feeling some Jerry Jones magic. This game at
All right.
AT&T Stadium, I don't know if the Cowboys are going to win, but the Packers have not been a high-scoring team. 27 points in each of their first 2 wins, obviously 10 in their loss to the Browns. I am having a hard time seeing them clear a touchdown. The Cowboys coming off a horrendous game. CeeDee Lamb's hurt. I feel like everybody's writing them off. Nobody
Yeah.
liked the trade of Micah Parsons to Green Bay, and now he's coming to get revenge. I don't know. I just feel like this is a game where nobody's expecting much out of the Cowboys. I still think they're a pretty good team. I think they can put up a fight, and I think Green Bay will win, but I think Dallas will make them earn it. I think they can cover.
Yeah. And then Chargers. I like the Chargers to cover the Giants at 6.5. I feel like that line should be bigger.
It should. I'm always wary of West Coast teams coming east for a 1:00 game.
Yeah.
I also am just like I think if the Giants had played Russell Wilson, I would like them a little bit. I don't really know what
Mhm.
to expect from rookie Jackson Dart making his
Right.
first start against a very good defense. Uh, I'd like to stay away from this game, but if I picked it, I think, man, laying 6.5 with the Chargers is a lot, but I think that's probably the way I'd have to go. I don't have a lot of faith in Dart coming in as a
Yeah.
rookie and being a
No.
difference maker. And the Giants, they just don't have enough talent overall. Um, they have kept they haven't scored at all.
Yeah.
I can see this game going under pretty easily too. The Chargers have a really good defense. The Giants don't score that much. LA might be out of sorts a little bit playing on the East Coast at 1:00. But this is this the game we're getting in Pittsburgh after Steelers-Vikings? Because there's going to be a lot of grass getting cut.
Hey, that's You know what? That's for the people of Pittsburgh. Get your grass cut. So the 9:30 a.m. game Sunday coming up in Dublin, Steelers and Vikings. The Vikings are a 2.5 point favorite. And Alan, I'm gonna bet against the Steelers this week, and I'm gonna take the Vikings with the points. I think that this is a coaching mismatch. I think Brian Flores' defense is gonna stress out this offense, and I just see the Vikings taking too much advantage of the Steelers in Dublin. What do you say?
Yeah, when I was doing my season prediction for the Steelers, I had this game down as an early loss. It just doesn't seem like the kind of game they've won in recent seasons. I do think I'm not terrified of the Minnesota offense. I don't think they're going to be able to move the ball well against the Steelers. The Steelers may not move the ball at all against the Minnesota defense. I think this could be a real rock fight. The over-under is 40.5, and I think I want to take the under, which is crazy, but like I don't trust either of these offenses. I think for it to go over, you got to get one of your defensive touchdowns. Like that's about the only way I see it happening.
Well, with all of my faith in those defensive touchdowns, I think I have to take the over.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
You just never know what's gonna happen when you go abroad. As I saw with my statistic hunting this week, it just didn't seem to prove very much to me. But yeah, I'm gonna take the over and the Vikings at 2.5, and we get to hear your pick, Alan, tomorrow on Afternoon Drive. So very excited for that. Always love to hear what you have to say, and love the show.
Yeah, I haven't even decided where I'm picking this game yet, but I don't know. I think I will be leaning towards Steelers plus 2.5.
Okay.
But I might still be picking the Vikings to win. I really haven't decided yet which way I'm going to go yet. Find out on tomorrow's Afternoon Drive.
Yeah, find out on the pod. Alan, thanks for joining me. I'm Julianne Pelusi. Thank you guys all for joining us. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel.